Boxing. Subscribe to that channel. Click the like button. You will not be ashamed. Just be bold and just click like and subscribe. You will not regret it. This is the channel to go to. Tony Olson Boxing. Yes, we're talking about the Raymond Muratalla victory over Andy Cruz. What do you guys think about that performance? Impeccable performance. I knew that it was going to be a good competitive fight. I felt like he would win by decision. That was my first initial thought, that Raymond Muratalla would beat him by decision. And I did say that he could possibly win by a knockout. But we got to give credit to Andy Cruz for being able to fight a fight from the distance the best that he could. But he was not able to succeed in his plan because like I said in the previous video, that Raymond Muratalla is a complete boxer. If you compare Raymond Muratalla compared to Andy Cruz, Andy Cruz has amateurish habits. I believe that he did do a great job in boxing. Well, a good job in boxing on the outside, and he actually was able to land on Muratalla, but Muratalla did not feel his punches, and I feel like that's the reason why Muratalla kept going forward. And the way Muratalla went forward was very impressive because he didn't do it like a typical brawler. He actually has technical skills and technique in the way he fights at angles going forward. When he moves forward, Raymond Muratalla, he actually uses angles and he has power, and he doesn't get careless when he's going inside. He throws combinations, but he doesn't engage if he doesn't have to. He only does it if he sees an opening, and he's a counterpuncher. So he's definitely a fighter that when he goes inside, he uses angles, Raymond Muratalla, and that's exactly what he did with Andy Cruz. He figured Andy Cruz was really fast. He threw fast counters, and he was really good with his feet. So he had to really use his technique moving forward. And when he did it, he was successful. He got hit a couple of times, but at the same time, he's not perfect. And I believe that he fought the great fight. The best plan that he could use was to fight the way he did, at angles, going forward, and throwing body shots. Not enough body shots that I would have liked him to actually land, but he actually landed some body shots, and he landed more to the head, but he did from time to time hit Andy Cruz in the body. And I feel like that pays dividends in the long run, because then the fighter gets tired, and the fighter is not able to keep his hands up. They lose stamina, and they lose their breath. They can't catch their breath after a while when you hit them to the body relentlessly. And I believe that Muratalla strategy was great, because he knew that if he goes straight in and just tries to brawl without worrying about the counters, then he would have got counted too much. So I believe that the punches that Andy Cruz landed, they really had no effect on Muratalla. Muratalla was never hurt. I believe that Muratalla actually hurt Andy Cruz, not all the time, but I think Andy Cruz felt his power inside. The way that Muratalla was going in and hitting to the body, and he was throwing uppercuts too. Uppercuts and body shots. And I think that was the key to the victory. And he had a good defense, a good tight guard upstairs. I believe that even though he got hit in this fight, is because of Andy Cruz's speed. Andy Cruz has a lot of speed and a lot of footwork. But I feel that Muratalla's style was so complete, because he knew how to brawl with a boxer, and he knew how to land effective punches. There was effective aggressiveness. That's what he displayed in this fight. And despite him not being the better boxer, he has the whole total package. He boxes good, he punches good, he throws great combinations, he times, he's a good counter puncher. He has good defense, and in spite of him getting countered by Andy Cruz, I truly believe that Muratalla was in control of the fight for the most part. Even though there was some rounds that were close, they could have gone either way. I truly believe that Muratalla did more than enough to win this fight, and I don't think it was as close as they said, but it was close. But I don't think it was that close. I think Muratalla probably won by 2 or 3 rounds, majority decision. I would give him. But anyway, I said that Andy Cruz before this fight. I did say that Andy Cruz was overhyped. He was overhyped. Do I say he's overrated? Slightly, yes. He's slightly overrated. I believe that, Andy Cruz will give a lot of fighters fits, with his speed, with his boxing movement. You can't take that away from him because he was effective with his footwork and his counters. He was effective enough against Muratalla. Muratalla actually kept fighting his fight, putting pressure and landing the harder punches, the more effective punches. He was the effective aggressor, and he boxed intelligently, going forward. He had technical skills fighting forward, and he was doing really great. He threw the jab, he threw the uppercut, he threw the body shots, and he moved at angles whenever he was brawling with Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz could not deal with his style because he was ready for the counters too. If you noticed in the fight, Andy Cruz countered him, but he wasn't effective enough to befuddle Muratalla. Muratalla was able to figure him out for the most part and have control of that range in the inside. I think he did a pretty good job in fighting him on the inside, in spite of Andy Cruz trying to keep him at bay. I believe that Muratalla is a problem, and the 135 weight class, he's a serious threat to any of the up and coming fighters. Like I say, Keyshawn Davis, I think he's still fighting at 135. So it's a lot of competition, and I believe that Raymond Muratalla is a good addition to that weight class, and he's a great champion, IBF champion. He displayed his greatness, and Andy Cruz was overhyped. Is he overrated? Overhyped, overrated? Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Subscribe to that channel. Click the like button. Subscribe to my channel. And check out the video where I interviewed Abisael Cotto, the future champion of Puerto Rico at 130-pound weight class. Check out that interview. It's in Spanish on the video section in my video. Check it out. You're going to love it. I do interviews in Spanish because I interview a lot of the boxers from Puerto Rico. And I do it in Spanish. So check that out. All right. Let me see the comments over here. Pez Dispensa 1135. Hi, how you doing? Thanks for tuning into my channel. I appreciate you tuning into my channel. Yes, I'm doing fine. How you doing? Hey, how you doing? Pez Dispensa 1135. Hello, how you doing, my brother? Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Callan Makaneshi 5376. Let me say it again. I butchered your name. Sorry. Callan Makanechi 5376. Is it pink? What are you talking about? What's pink? My flag is not pink, Papi. My flag is light blue, red, and white. The independence colors of Puerto Rico. The liberation flag of Puerto Rico. Not the colonization flag that was imposed by the United States. The navy blue one. No. That's the one the United States government wanted to impose on Puerto Rico. But the real Puerto Rican flag is the light blue, aqua, the aqua blue. Red, white, and aqua blue. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Subscribe to the channel. All right, Creamy McFlurry 28. Can you shout me out? Can you shout out me? Yes. Shout out to Creamy McFlurry 28. Yes, can you shout out me? Yes, I will. I will. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Esa rosa. No. Es color rosa. Sí. TJ Moore 5913. Hey, bro. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Yes. Subscribe to my channel. Click the like button if you want to hear real content, unadulterated truth, no holding back. Keeping it real. Don't try to please everybody. You just gotta please the boxing fans with the truth. I'll subscribe if you answer this question correctly. TJ Moore, 5913. Okay, Tony, how do I shave? Callum, okay, no, he's the one that asked. Okay, TJ Moore, 5913 says, I'll subscribe if you answer this question correctly. Okay, what is the question, my brother? Let me know. Tony, how do I shave? What? Callum Mackin 5376 asked me, Tony, how do I shave? What are you trying to insinuate? You shave, you grab a razor blade and you shave. All right, what's the question, TJ Moore? All right, if you don't want to give me the question, that's fine. Luami17 says hi. Thanks for tuning into the channel, Luami17. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Yes. So, what do you guys think of Andy Cruz? Do you think Andy Cruz is overrated? Is he overhyped? I think he's the goods, but he's not quite ready for somebody like Raymond Muratalla. He's not ready. I knew that Raymond Muratalla is a complete fighter. I don't like the way Andy Cruz fights. He fights like an amateur. He fights like an amateur. He's good. He's good at using his feet. He's good at lateral movement. He throws combinations, but he doesn't go for the kill. He just fights too defensive and too like he doesn't try to engage too much. He fights too much from the outside, and that's okay if that's his style. But he has an amateur style. Like a lot of the Cuban boxers from the amateurs, they don't quite adapt to the pros too well. They don't adapt to the pros too well. They wind up getting the short end of the stick in the fights, in big fights. And I feel like he's gonna be somebody that's gonna be a problem for people that have trouble dealing with lateral movement. But if you're able to time him, you won't have any issues with Andy Cruz. And that's exactly what Raymond Muratalla did. He timed him. And I was like up all night watching that fight. I was falling asleep a little bit before the fight. I was kind of tired because I have to work the next day. But for this fight, Raymond Muratalla versus Andy Cruz, I did not sleep not even 1 second. I didn't even snooze not even 1 second. That's how great and intriguing this fight was. And this fight is a very, very good demonstration of what Raymond Muratalla is made of. He showed what he's made of, that he can deal with a boxer that moves and moves and moves and counters, but doesn't engage on the inside. But if he would have engaged a little bit on the inside, it probably would have been detrimental for Andy Cruz. That's probably why he fought the way he did, or he probably fought the way he did because that's the way he fights. He doesn't have that instinct to fight on the inside for at least 2 minutes or 3 minutes. No, he has to fight totally with his roller skates. Far away, jab, jab, counter, move, move. Okay, he did make a good account of himself. I'm not saying that Andy Cruz didn't make a good account of himself. The fight was competitive. The fight was somewhat close, but I didn't think Muratalla. Yeah, I think Muratalla won more rounds than what they gave him. But the fight was could have went either way. But I truly believe that I don't think that it could have went either way. I don't think that Andy Cruz did enough to win that fight. He did look competitive, and he gave Muratalla some fits, but Muratalla figured him out. Muratalla was able to figure out Andy Cruz. Raymond Muratalla was able to figure out Andy Cruz. And I believe that in the 135 weight class, do we still have Valenzuela in that weight class? Do we have him? I know Pitbull Cruz moved up. Lamont Roach moved up from 130 to 140. But I think he was at 135. He was the champion. But he moved to 140. So, right now, that weight class has Keyshawn Davis and possibly Valenzuela. Who else is in that weight class? 135. But Raymond Muratalla is a good addition and is great for boxing. He's better for boxing than Andy Cruz is. I do think that Andy Cruz is a good fighter, but I'm not. I was never sold on him. I was never sold on Andy Cruz. I was not. Let me see if you have any questions for me. Okay. Oh, TJ Moore, 5913. That's the question. Tony, how do I shave? How do you shave? That's what you didn't ask that. Callum McInerney, 5376 asked that question. You didn't ask that question. TJ Moore, 5913. Callum McInerney, 5376 says, Tony, how do I shave? You didn't ask me that. TJ Moore, 5013. That's the question. So you want me to answer, how do you shave? You simply shave with a razor blade. But you can shave with a knife if you want to take that chance, but it's up to you. But I would shave with a razor blade. But how do you shave what? How do you shave your head? How do you shave your face? How do you shave, right? Simple. You just grab a razor blade and put it on your face gently. Don't be too rough or you'll cut yourself if you have sensitive skin. So you shave with a razor blade. Okay, if you want to subscribe to my channel, you can. If you don't, no big deal. I got plenty of other people that will subscribe because I'm authentic and I'm real and I'm very unique. I'm not like most people. I think outside the box. And that's what a lot of people need to do nowadays. Think outside the box. Don't get programmed. That's right. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. So what do you think Eddie Hearns is going to do now? Now that his fighter lost, Andy Cruz. You know, I don't like Eddie Hearns. I don't like him. But, you know, I just don't like his sneaky ways behind the scenes. But I don't want to talk about that. But what do you think is going to happen to Andy Cruz? I think a loss on his record is just one loss. I think he'll benefit from this and possibly learn that he wasn't ready for the championship fights yet because he never won 12 rounds. I think he never even won 6 rounds. So I think that, you know, if you don't go 8 rounds, 10 rounds, you know, you shouldn't go to a championship fight just right away like that, just based on your name. He only had 6 fights and 3 KOs, no losses, but now he has a loss, 6-1 with 3 KOs. But I feel like they rushed him too fast, and I get it. He's 30 years old. They're trying to rush him, but you know, you gotta develop the fighters. You know, you gotta develop them, and I feel like they rushed him too fast because of his age. And right now, you know, Raymond Muratalla is gonna probably try to get the biggest fights possible because he's 29. He probably has 3 more years in boxing, or 4, 29, 30, 31, 2, 33, 34, maybe 5 years. If he doesn't take a lot of damage and if his body can still handle it, he could probably fight for another 5 years. I give him 4 because he fights, you know, like an aggressive style. He does have a technique, boxing ability as a brawler, but he engages in fights. So, you know, a lot of times fighters like that, they need to like retire sooner maybe than later. So he might have like 3 or 4 more years left. You know, 3 more years realistically, 4 or 5 more years pushing it. You know, it all depends on how many times he fights a year, how much damage his body receives. But I believe that Raymond Muratalla is a problem for anybody. But I do like Keyshawn Davis. He's one of my favorite fighters, and Raymond Muratalla became one of my favorite fighters as well. David Benavidez, another fighter that is one of my favorites. Subriel was my favorite. He still is, but you know, he just lost, and you know, I just don't want to get into that. You know, I still support him, but the guy to watch out for right now is Abisael Cotto from Caimito, Puerto Rico. This guy is the truth. He's at the 130-pound weight class. He's 5'9". I think he has a 6'69" reach advantage. He has power. He has boxing ability, boxing skills. Check out that interview in my video section when you get a chance. It's in Spanish because I interviewed the fighters from Puerto Rico in Spanish. So yeah, he's gonna fight real soon. He has a fight on Universal Promotions. He's going to fight real soon. I can't give too much details on that, but he gave me the details in private because, I'm one of his favorite interviewers, or the most favorite interviewer that he has a lot of people interviewing him, but I think I'm his favorite interviewer. Maybe he'll confess that in my next interview. But anyway, Keith Cologne was supposed to give me an interview. He still didn't give me an interview. If you're watching this video, Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Give me the interview if you really want to give it to me, Keith Cologne. But if you don't want to give it to me, don't beat around the bush and don't have me waiting on you. I respect you. You're a great fighter. But if you said you're going to give me an interview, keep it real and give me that interview. Keep it real and give me that interview, Keith Cologne. I follow your fights. You're very talented. But come on, if you said you're going to call me after the fight, after the Subriel Matias undercard that you fought and you looked impressive, you said you was going to give me that interview, but you didn't give me the interview. It's all good. If you don't want to give me the interview, just don't mention it. You don't say that you're going to give me an interview and that you're going to call me after the fight if you're not going to do that. But I got nothing but respect for you. You're a great fighter. But I have a little more respect if you give me the interview like you promised. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. That's all I got for now. Subscribe to the channel. Do not be afraid to click that like button. Do not be afraid to subscribe. Only the real brave warriors, intelligent warriors, subscribe and like my channel and comment on my channel because they know that they're going to get positive, real, powerful feedback. Realistic, knowledgeable feedback. And I don't hold back. And I feel like a lot of people out there holding back. They're only giving content creation to cause, clickbait to get you to watch their video. But then when you watch the video, it has nothing to do with the clickbait that they actually lure you into. But I'm not like that. I give you real bait. Real bait. I bait you into the realness so you can see the realness and you can get impacted by the realness. Because Tony also knows boxing is going to impact everybody with his realness. Subscribe to my channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. I think Raymond Muratalla is the truth. And he proved what he was worth. And he's going to show more. And Andy Cruz needs to go back to the drawing board. And I was never really sold on Andy Cruz. But I wish him nothing but the best. He needs to work on that amateur style and be more engaging. And have boxing ability as well. Not just one way to fight. Because people get bored with that. You got to have versatility. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing and check out my music on all major platforms. I have a song with Keith Murray featuring on my song. It's called Stop Being Greedy. It's going to be released real soon. And I'm making history. I'm singing on the hook. I'm rapping on the verse. And he's rapping on his verse. And he's a platinum selling artist. And he featured on Tony Also's song, Stop Being Greedy, which is going to be featuring in my new album, The Essence of Who I Am, dedicated to my mother. You're going to check that out. It's going to be on all major platforms as well. Spotify, YouTube, Apple, iTunes, everywhere. So that single, Stop Being Greedy, is going to be released in a few weeks. I'm just doing the legalities behind the scenes, the paperwork, making sure everything's copacetic financially on both sides and promotionally. So yes, Tony also featuring Keith Murray, Stop Being Greedy. I sing on the hook and I rap on the verse, and it's a real powerful song. It talks about real stuff that's going on in the world with the government. And yes, we kill it on that track. We're killing it on that track. We are. Yes, for all those that didn't think I could make it, booyah, in your face. That's what you get for undermining the king that God put on this earth to accomplish and fulfill his goals. Tony also is going to fulfill his goals. And I thank everybody for tuning into my channel, for subscribing to my channel, for clicking like and being brave and being part of the solution, not part of the problem. Because Tony also is part of the solution, not the problem. The problem is eradicated once you got the solution. So that's what it is. Subscribe to the channel. Oh, I don't understand Arabic. Pinya Jidirim Salam Al-Qadas. I don't know what you're saying, but thanks for tuning into the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Do not be afraid to click the like button. Do not be afraid to subscribe. I'm out. Tony also knows boxing. Subscribe to that channel. Don't be afraid. Raymond Muratalla.